So glad you're with me on the Quantum Financial Show, where it's about you, empowerment about knowledge. I'm not here just to entertain, but to educate and to teach. Learning about the stock markets, business news, and how to save more and live longer without breaking the bank. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Coming up, Wells Fargo is at it again with cheating their auto loan customers. And right after, a 403B plans. What are they? And finally, the W-4 forms are changing. And what does it mean for you? Stay tuned and be excited for another show with Tim, Quantum Financial. Wells Fargo cheated their auto loan customers. And they are always in the news. Always when I turn my back. Again. This time with fines of $400 million. This bank can't seem to be good to their customers and to be honest up front. A criminal in conspiracy, a bank, the one that only Wells Fargo can be. This bank I read a lot, always comes up. I don't know how this bank can go wrong in so many sides of the law. In so many areas in their business. They can't keep making mistakes. It's not like Wells Fargo has been isolated. Has been a dirty, rotten, corporate, terrible enterprise. The bad news is, news keeps rolling on. The latest, Wells Fargo has to pay in a class action lawsuit going to be likely of $400 to $500 million. Over a 11-year ongoing, unbelievable Wells Fargo criminal conspiracy stealing money from their auto loan customers. It's unbelievable that Wells Fargo keeps on doing the unimpossible to people's vehicles. You should not be threatened by Wells Fargo, nor dealing with Wells Fargo. And this is not the only news. Wells Fargo on this class action lawsuit were charging people for insurance they didn't have or didn't need. Customers didn't ask for it. This is right down discreditable behavior on the part of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has been under scrutiny, preventing them to grow, because of the continuing of scandals they have encountered. We are creatures of habit and banking. Wells Fargo, surprisingly, to this point, has had no loss of customers. Maybe new leadership might get their act together. Wells Fargo someday. The history is very poor. The crimes that Wells Fargo has committed is unexcusable. The loss of trust is unbelievable. I want you to know, to be warned, and be very careful of doing business with Wells Fargo. Maybe they might clean up their act someday. Well, see in time. You have so many choices of where to put your money. Why would you endure your trust with an institution in this so many ways that is bad for your health and financial situation? It's not that hard to switch to a financial institution. And coming up, a 403B plans are set up by Congress to be operated by insurance companies. Fees on them are much higher than 20 times more expensive than a low-cost 401k plan. They are incredibly expensive. The investment choices are generally low funds, low class quality than a 401k. The 403b loses on investment choices and they lose massive on expenses. If you have a choice between a 401k and a 403b, I would extremely unusually that a 401k would not vastly be superior. Comparing to a 401k to a Roth IRA, you can't take the money from your 401k and put it into a Roth. or a regular IRA unless you quit your job. If you have a Roth IRA, it works opposite of a 401k. If you have a Roth IRA, you don't get an extra tax break, but the money grows tax-free and spent tax-free when you retire. With a 401k, it goes in a tax benefit to you when you put the money into everything that you have it in that earns taxes at the time of retirement. And finally in the news, the W-4 forms. A lot of people were shocked this tax season of having to pay extra additional taxes after they held money from their paychecks all through 2018. They found out when they filed returns this year, faced by a tax bill because of the new law, had a lot of traps in it. That pushed people into more taxes than before. Plus, the way holdings were adjusted, still under withholding still. It's a very confusing thing, and trust being told the tax law was always only going big tax breaks to big corporations. That was the purpose of it, and that was the goal of it. Anything for personal tax returns was just another way to screw the American taxpayers. Time and time again, never truth. The government, they are not out looking for us. They are not for us either. They, the Congress and the senators, are looking out for their bank accounts instead. Some of them with low tax brackets have benefited from them. It was never about us. It was all for the ultra-high incomers and also the big companies. That's what it was for. A lot of the W-4 changes made most under withholdings and pay more later at tax time. And getting a big surprise tax bill on April 15th this year of 2019. There is a fix in the works for next year. Unbelievable, right? Next year? So this could happen one more time and get a massive tax bill. We are getting a whole new procedure for designing with withholdings in a form called a W-4. It will be totally different from what you are used to. In certain situations, it's going to be confusing to you. I want to simplify this as much as I can. If you found out that you have an unexpected bill that you owe, just take this precaution and do not exactly whatever extra that you have to pay simply to the IRS. Divide the number by the number of pay periods you have. If you get paid every 2 weeks, that's 26. So take your bill, divide it by 26, and that's how much you would have to exactly pay that much withholdings from your paycheck. The new law will have something for the ultra high and incomers. You will have to go through a series of calculations and are much involved than ever been done before. That's you're not severely under withholdings. Most Americans have done a strategy which is wrong. Is a lot of people have extra withholdings from their paycheck for savings. The goal being is that when you do get your taxes done, you're going to get a big refund. It's like for savings with a bonus at the end. I'm here to set the record straight today that I am here to tell you why this is not a good idea. One of them is for tax ID fraud, filing a return as if it were you. Then, when the refund that you're expected to get, you have to wait 10 to 14 months to get it, while the IRS figures out what really went on wrong with the return. Thank you very much for following me and listening to the show today on Quantum Financial. I hope this information was informal and brought meaning to you and enlighten you a little bit. So if you're new, subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified of new videos coming up in the near future. I do videos on Wednesday at 3 p.m. and Saturday at 8 a.m. Saturday is more of a short video than the one on Wednesday. So I will see you guys all later. Until next time, bye-bye.